into a gym after that and do my own thing. Because a lot of times, when we don't know what to do, we just stay away from it. So once we figure out how to do things, sorry,
it is too overwhelming. You don't know what to do. So it's good if you get a push from a friend, at least as a beginner.
Absolutely, and that's why having a personal trainer can work for you at the beginning. To a Zumba class, and that was the big life changer for me, because I loved Zumba so much from the first class that I just wanted to go 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. I just wanted to do that all day, every day. And then after many years, people would keep coming to me like, "Where do you give your classes? I want to come." And I'm like, I'm not a teacher. I'm just here as a student. But I kept hearing it, and I got my license when I was doing my master's degree in communications. I taught for the last year in America while I was doing my master's degree. I stayed past graduation for a bit, moved to Kuwait, worked in a bank, continued in fitness, but it was always this. I worked at NBK, National Bank of Kuwait, the best bank in Kuwait, and even though it's a great environment to work in, actually, in Kuwait, but it just was not me. I could not sit behind a desk all day, every day. I just wanted to go into my classes, and I empathize, I think, with a lot of people, and I just want people to be healthy. For one definition for fit or healthy, it's depending on you, on me. We're all different. Health is different for everyone, but it's achievable, and it's your basic human rights.
Yes. So thank you for the lovely introduction, and we'll jump right into the topic. So we are talking about building healthy habits in yourself, in our lives, and even our children's lives. My viewers a lot. I asked my viewers what they would like to ask you, and I got a list of questions. So I'll just ask you one by one, and we'll even let the viewers ask whatever questions they want. So I'll start. So the first worry that most of the parents have is that they don't know that if their children are eating enough. So how can you make sure that your children are eating enough?
Okay. Well, it would, I'm sure, definitely depend on the size and the age of the child. But actually, kids don't need as much food as I think parents think they do. So if you think of an adult, and the serving size of a plate for an adult is a handful of protein, a handful of veggies, and a handful of carbs. So you can imagine that the kid's portion is going to be at least half of that. Your veggies are so important, your fruits, and of course, healthy, good sources of protein as well. But most, and also another thing is parents need to learn to listen to their children a bit more, especially in our culture. We think that we show love with food, and it's like, sure, let's just keep feeding you because this is how I show you love. But we need to move away from that. You can show love in so many ways, not just with food.
Not best food,
when your child says, "Oh, I don't want to eat, I'm full," don't be like, "No, you have to finish your plate."
That so happens.
Age too, I'm sure someone tells you, "Why didn't you finish your plate?"
Yeah, when I'm eating something healthy, my mom will definitely, okay, eat something, eat more. I'm like, no, I'm enough, eat more. Yeah, it definitely happens.
Absolutely.
Okay, so thank you. And we'll move to the other question. Yes, somebody commented that even you can ask questions. She will definitely answer as much as we can. Okay. One is that my child is an overeater. So you can see that your child is overeating. Sometimes you can see that they are eating 5 packets of chips, even if it's something as healthy as maybe if they're eating something healthy, but even healthy should be proportionate, right? So how can you tell your child not to eat if they're overeating? How do you stop that in your children?
Okay, this is a very good question. Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's a difficult one a little bit to gauge, but you can start with 5 bags of chips is not the same as 5 bags of carrots, for example, right? The 5 bags of chips, as your child eats them, they're only going to make his body crave more and want more junk. It's not really going to fill him up. It's empty carbs. Empty meaning there's nothing, no nutrition, no fiber, nothing to actually keep you full. And then, sorry to interrupt, Arwa. Can we just kick someone out? Because his comments are really distracting me. Ibra Dole, he's talking about a lot of things that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. So this is why sometimes turning off comments is a bit better. But anyway, make sure your kids are eating the right food that is going to set them up to succeed. So once they have good nutrition in them, you know that they should be full a little longer, and they'll probably eat a little bit less. Now, don't give your kid a plate filled with food, and when he's done, just be like, okay, I want more. Okay, here's more. Okay, I want more. Okay, here's more. You have to be like, okay, honey, talk to your kids. We don't talk to them. We don't treat them like adults. Talk to them. Do you think you're full? Do you think maybe you ate enough? If you're still hungry in 20 minutes, why don't we come and eat a little bit more? But let's give it a break right now. Talk to them. Use that big brain of yours. When you say the word big brain, they're like, and it's really, you can see how they think. And so using these things, thank you, Ibra.
Oh, she left. It's okay. Back. You all can even ask your questions. Or we
all right.
have a lot of questions.
I'm back. Language. Listen to the children. If they're still hungry, then as the parent, there's something wrong. I'm not feeding them the proper nutrition. And if your child is already overweight and their stomach is already a little expanded, you want to set them up to succeed. You want to put them in something active. They're kids. Kids should be moving around so much. They shouldn't be sitting on laptops or on iPads. They need to be moving, playing, and just, food, movement, and just hope that they kind of work.
Yeah.
And get rid of processed foods.
These days, the problems are not very safe. I live in Salman, and I would, if we're sending our kids down, we'll just let them be near our building. We don't send them, even at least if they are below like 10 years, we don't let them go even a little bit farther, because the environment.
Do is you can put your kids in activities, soccer, ballet, dance, art, even, as long, I think if we start with our kids from a young age, exposing them to all sorry, what was I saying before I said the Nalus? Have a variety of activity for your kids, a variety of food, a variety of food shapes, a variety of food colors. And hate it. But that's why you're their parent. That's why you should be pushing them. No, darling, keep going, keep going. They don't like it a year later, you put them in tennis. They don't like that 1 year later, you put them as
the trial and error to see what they might like.
Sorry?
It's a trial and error to see what they might like. They might not like ballet, they might like boxing.
Yeah, and this applies to adults too, not only children.
Yeah, actually,
right? So when I get my clients that tell me, I don't like Zumba, I don't like to work out, I don't like to sweat, I don't like salads, I'm just like, these are all these things that you don't like. What are the things you like? Like, let's talk of things either, you know? Or you haven't tried them in a long time?
Yeah, actually, even I had this mindset for Zumba. I was like, I don't like Zumba because I don't have the rhythm and like that. Really, I was getting late because I was leaving. Like I think your class was maybe 2 to 3 p.m. or something, and I was leaving at 3 p.m. So I told my driver to. I was out of rhythm, and all the girls around me were out of rhythm as well. But the class was so full of energy rather than doing it, and I did sweat so much that day. I was sore, from Zimbabwe. So that was
So let me
surprising.
ask you this.
I fell. I had scraped my knees, had scraped my elbows, everything.
Yeah. How many of us, right? No one. No. I'm in the Guinness World Book of Records or something, but it doesn't happen. And so what happens is we tend to expect so much from ourselves. We tend to, expect us to be perfect, expect our body to be perfect, our skin, our hair, our life. Much sadder when you don't achieve the very high bar you've set than if you just have a normal bar that you're here and here and here, and it's okay because it's not too difficult to reach.
Setting so many high expectations, go slow.
Yes, go slow. So, give yourself time. I always tell people 3 to 5 classes, and then you can really judge. Probably before I move into the kids talk a bit more, but I have a story I want to share. When I was teaching Zumba in America, it was my first few months as a Zumba teacher. I was still very new. I was really young. And I remember one of my teachers called me to go cover her class at another branch of the gym. I worked at Gold's Gym. And so she wanted me to go cover her class. And I said, of course, sure. I'll cover your class. And who is that? Where is my teacher? So I walked in and I was really scared, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And I introduced myself, and in Zumba they teach you that your success as my student, your success is actually my success. So if I notice that you're not doing good and I don't do anything about it and I continue doing what I'm doing, that goes to me as an instructor, right? I should focus on you. I understand that you're not doing well, and so I'll focus on you. And so I had one gentleman, right? He was a man, he was in his 30s, and he was in the want them to like me, and I was trying my best. But this guy was doing everything wrong. Everything. He was offbeat, the moves were wrong, and I remember Arwa, are you there? Can you all hear me? Oh, there you are, Arwa, I think. Can I? Or no, I think it was you. Or internet, maybe. Let me just make sure my internet is. Because I don't have mobile. Huh? Yeah, yeah. Okay, just in case it's my internet, I just asked I don't want.
Can you guys hear me now? Alifia, can you hear me now?
Okay, I think that's better.
Okay, now you can hear me, right?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so where
Sorry.
were we?
I don't remember. We've been talking so much. Instructor that you covered the
Oh
class for
yes,
someone else.
yes. So I finished teaching this class. Who was doing everything wrong. Moves were not like the moves were walk out of the class, and if he walks out, then all these people are gonna think that I'm not. I was just young, and this is what goes through your head when you're young. Whole entire class, and I was just in my head like, oh my god, he's still here. So the class finished. I went. Excuse me, sir, you did a really good job today. Nothing. And I said, excuse me, sir. Ignored me. And I was like, hey, maybe he doesn't really like me. I don't know. Arwa? Enjoyed it. It was really challenging. And he signed his name. And I remember I read it and I was like, and then it clicked and it dawned on me that, he's deaf. And that's why he wasn't hearing me calling him and telling him he did a good job. And I swear to you, that day I just felt emotions and, my eyes got watery. And I realized from that day on, I love Zumba. I love being a teacher. I love what I do. And just seeing this wonderful grow, it inspired me, and so I try to inspire people with that as well.
Get as instructors, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll move some questions now because there are a lot of people messaging me that please ask the questions.
Okay.
So, as a parent, I have my own struggles with weight and with eating habits. So, if what can I do to help that? Because I'm sure there are many parents who have their own struggles as well. So, how can they help their children when they themselves are struggling?
Yeah. So it's important to know that your kids look at you to everything, and they imitate you, and they copy you, and they take so much from you, especially in their adolescence when they're actually like first born to 2 years old, or not even two, a year and a half before they start walking. What are they doing? Sitting in a chair, watching you.
They're
all
looking at
day,
you.
every day. They're just watching you, they're listening, they're hearing, they're learning, they're picking up, and we don't realize this. We think, oh, my baby, you know? So when you, for example, have a young child, good to let your child know that you don't like broccoli or that you think broccoli tastes bad, because that's going to influence their their view of broccoli. So broccoli's on the table, it's like any other food. Eat your broccoli, eat your this. Even if you know yourself you don't eat it and you don't like it, you need to now try to get your kids to do better than you, especially if you're overweight and you're unhealthy and you're sick. You know how hard it is, and you don't want your children to have to suffer with that. So
Right.
yeah.
That's a big struggle for many parents.
A lot, yeah. And
Yeah, parents are struggling with
don't
too
bring the
many
junk
things.
food home, even if that's what you eat. You love eating your chips and your chocolate and your candy. Don't introduce it to your kids, because it's really addictive. Sugar actually,
Sugar, yeah.
can anyone guess actually how addictive sugar is in comparison to cocaine? How many times more than cocaine is sugar addictive? Just guess numbers in the chat box. Is it 10 times more addictive than cocaine? 20 times? 5 times? How many times do you think?
My guess would be 20.
20? Okay. Anyone else? I'm looking for the comments. Okay, I'll give you the answer. The answer is 8 times. Okay?
How many?
So 8.
Okay.
8. So if sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine, why aren't we giving our children cocaine? Right? Would you sell cocaine in the grocery store in a package with like a fun picture on it? No, you wouldn't. Right? You sell sugar though in packages with pictures and bunnies and Mickey Mouse to make kids want it. And so this just kind of feeds into the food industry, the sugar industry, how they put sugar in ketchup, they put sugar in bread, they put out, or your pantry, take out your top 8 items that you love eating from. Look at the ingredients. I bet you there's cane sugar or honey or molasses or sucrose or some form of sugar in it. So
we need to be aware of the ingredients as well. We need to learn how to read the labels. That is one of the most important things, right?
Yes, the ingredients.
Okay, so moving to the next question. Do not get the nutrients. For example, if they just want to eat oats every day, so they're not getting the nutrients from other. So what can they? How can they do that? How can they solve that issue?
Okay, so you're in charge of making the food, right? So let me ask you this. If I hang on, let me bring some things here for like demonstrations. If I, let's say I come to serve you this for dinner, and I say, Arwa, this is what we have for dinner today. I know you can't really eat it, okay? But now, can you all hear me?
It's working well. I don't know what happened. Just 1 second. Just give me a...
No,
They can't hear
me. So they can hear, but I don't know what's wrong with yours, Arwa.
Okay, you can keep. You can keep speaking because it's something's wrong on my side. They can hear you.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going until hopefully Arwa fixes it. So let's assume you're eating dinner today, and I say, okay, guys, this is what we have for dinner today, and I just give you all of these, and I say, this is our dinner. Okay, not a lot of variety. It's not exciting. But if I come to you and I tell you, okay, now we have this for dinner today, you have options. How many options you have to eat, and now I give you this. So let's assume all these different items that I have are different food items and different colors, right? That's why I have all the colors. So I have a green pepper, I have maybe a red tomato, a purple eggplant, a blackberry, an You see how all the colors actually makes it a little bit more exciting? Arwa, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So the more variety you have, especially with colors, kids love colors. So if you were to put a fruit plate of blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, mango, going and trying. Now, it's really important too when you introduce your kids to this food. So let's assume my child has never had a strawberry before. Do you think I should give them a sour strawberry, or should I make sure I'm giving them a perfectly sweet strawberry?
Perfectly
Right?
sweet, yes.
Sometimes the kids are going to take that sour strawberry because their mom hasn't tasted it, and they're going to be like, ugh! And then that's it. You've traumatized them for strawberries for years.
For the rest of their lives, yeah.
So it's really important when you just want to put the colors and, like, you take the apple. Sorry. So this is your apple, let's assume.
Okay.
And you want to just cut it up in really small pieces, right? Really small pieces. And that way, when your kid looks at the plate, your kid is not intimidated. There's a little small pieces of something. He can take a small one and, but if you give them a big apple, they're going to be like, I don't know.
We cannot
make them a little bit bigger. So now instead of giving them this, now maybe you're giving them an apple that's this big, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The older they get, the bigger the pieces get, until they're old enough to have a full apple and know that, oh, I love this apple, right? So yeah.
It's such a brilliant way to introduce new foods. Definitely, yeah. Okay, one question. I'd like to have lots of questions, but we'll see how many we can cover. So my child is underweight, so I let her snack all day long. This will help her gain faster. So.
Okay, underweight doesn't mean I'm going to get you McDonald's and feed you high calorie empty carbs, because that's going to make you sick, right? So if you're underweight, you need to focus on nutrition, because nutrition will keep you full, especially fiber. So if you have a child that's underweight, oats are excellent. Peanut butter, almond butter, nut butters of all kinds are good, but there's a difference between peanut butter and then there's peanut butter where you just take the peanuts and you grind them, and maybe you add a little bit of oil, maybe if you want, but that's it. It's peanuts and ground and natural oil. This is healthy, right? So oats, peanut butter, avocado. Look for healthy, high fats. Look for fiber, and of course complement with protein and veggies so the muscles can grow and nutrition can kind of go through the body.
Very helpful. These are such small things that many parents fail to like think about it, but these things might really help them.
And just we also have I see a comment from Ancia, and yes, it's so basic. And Ancia, you're right. It's very basic. We forget. We get caught up in the complications of life.
One of the viewers asked in the comments itself. I don't think they mentioned their age, but they said a teenager. So how can they work on that as kids? I mean, you can't definitely send kids to high-end skin treatments and everything. So what can they do at home?
Okay, so there's two things, right? It could, one, be hormones, which on this end would require probably a doctor, someone to see, maybe look at also the food, because your food does play with your hormones, but that's kind of one end. Another end is, I lost my train of thought. What was your question, Arwa? I'm sorry. I read the comments and then I just go.
It's okay. It was that one parent asked that their teenagers get a lot of pimples and acne or breakouts on their skin. So how can they work on that?
Right. So the hormones is one issue. Another issue, though, and this is how I envision, I guess, the human body is I try to tell people we're like a plant, right? Like imagine you just bought a plant to your house and you need to water it every day and make sure it gets sun so it can grow. Now, if you overwater your plant, it's probably going to start wilting. It's probably going to get brown. It might have dark spots. If your plant is sick, you'll see different spots and different colored things. And so all of these signs on a plant is just a sign that there's something wrong and you need to fix it, right? So maybe I need to realize I'm putting too much water. I'm not putting enough water. I'm putting it in the sun too much. I'm not putting it in the sun too much. I start to think about these things. Our human body is the same way. When you start to get a pimple or you start to get, dry skin or yellow nails or bad breath, or all these signs are signs that something is off balance in your body and probably in your gut. And so this is where you just need to make sure you're eating healthy, not a lot of oily foods, not a lot of foods high in hormones and antibiotics, because that all affects your body. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Lots of water, lots of greens, lots of fruits, and good nutrition.
Especially stay away from oily food. That's one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah, oily, fried, processed.
One question that many of my viewers ask me is that even though the kids, probably they're teenagers, they're older, so they want to eat healthy, they want to start it as a routine, but sometimes you don't get the same support from your family and your friends. So I want to have oats for breakfast, but my parents will not. They'll force me to eat something else. So how can they convince their parents to adopt a healthy lifestyle?
They start to become more comfortable with it. So the more exposed you are to anything, you start to become used to it, right? So maybe you can make your own oats one day and make it delicious. Like if I know that otherwise you don't like oats and you don't want me to eat oats, I'm going to make oats one day and I'm going to make sure I do it in a way that Arwa likes it. If Arwa likes peanut butter and apples, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to make today's oats with peanut butter and apples because I want Arwa to eat that. Yeah. And just slow introduction.
All right.
And lead by example. People like to see other people and try things and copy is better, or you're more productive, or whatever changes happen. When people see that, they're gonna be like, what are you doing? I want to try it.
I think it is the same as kids, like how you said earlier that the kids need to see something to follow. And I think even the parents, they need to see, to believe, and then to let you.
For
Great.
Sure.
Someone asked me, this is a big question. This is a most asked question. Kids are fussy eaters, they're picky eaters. I think we did cover that topic, but still.
One of the main ones that I was actually just showing you was, the little sizes of the food and the paper.
Yes.
So just take like veggies and berries, but make sure you taste them. Make sure they're ripe. Make sure they taste good, because you don't want to get your kid not liking avocado and broccoli and all that stuff. But when they start really small, anyway, you're making soups and purees, right? If food tastes like what sweet potato tastes like, they have these taste buds from the baby food, which you're going to make at home, right? You just start cutting it up really small and really small pieces. So when they look at their plate, they just see the colors and they can just focus on the colors. As you see that, okay, my child likes avocado and they're 3 years old now. Now I can give my child a half of an avocado and be like, here. They know what it tastes like. They know what it looks like. They like it. Now I can intimidate them with the big scary piece. That's just one way. Another way, let's say you want to feed your kids celery. So if you take a piece of celery and you just put it on the plate, it's like this, your kid's going to look at celery. But if you put peanut butter on the celery, and maybe you put like 2 raisins as eyes on the celery, now your celery has a face. And kids love faces. They love eyes. put eyes on any food and they're going to be like, you know, that's it. It's so simple. Or you can even like start making designs. So now you have your celery stalk with eyes, and maybe you take some grapes and you put grapes next to it as the tree, and you put a carrot stick as the bark, and now you've created an art piece out of healthy food.
I've seen those proper lunch box, and that's so cute. But it takes a lot of effort, but it really, the kids do eat it.
Yeah. So imagine you're
Stars and spaces and
you're in third grade and you open your lunchbox and you have faces. All the kids are going to be like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And then you're going to be like, "Ooh, this is my food," you know.
A full camera.
You know, even the apple. You want to have it cut up. You want to have a little side of peanut butter. You want to, make it fun, not just the apple.
Definitely, that's really good. I'm going to use these all in my niece, So okay, one.
So I see two questions here. Can I answer?
Yeah, we can answer that as well.
Okay, so yeah, she's saying it's difficult to manage a healthy lifestyle in Kuwait, where restaurants, everyone is going for unhealthy versions. This is really hard, by the way, but this is where I like to try my best to set myself up to succeed. Now, I'm not perfect at this either, in Kuwait especially. I think because in Kuwait, our weather, we don't have a lot of activities outdoor. Our social life is so centered around food that it becomes difficult. But the last few years, what I did is I have like 5 restaurants probably that are my go-to restaurants in Kuwait. I'll eat them almost any time, any day. So what I try to do sometimes is if my friends are ordering, say, fried chicken, to order something completely different. And I do that sometimes. I have a certain group of friends actually that always laugh at me because I order this Layla Lebanese restaurant all the time. And every time they want to order, they're like, "What you want, Layla?" I'm like, "Yeah." But we actually got to an agreement where they order whatever they want and I order whatever I want. And I usually end up having a couple people joining me on the healthy side too. So you just kind of set yourself up to succeed. Now that I'm like in America and quarantine, lockdown, cooking, my mother is here, so we try to do what we can, but it's not like Kuwait where food is just, around. And so I even realized, like, if I don't eat in between my classes, so today I had a Zumba class, I'll probably binge eat for dinner tonight. So I just try to think, okay, Zaina, before you get too hungry, feed yourself, because you don't want to binge on anything. And when we're hungry, we tend to binge.
Definitely, like how Nancy is saying, progress over perfection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just few more questions.
Thank you, Mumina. Thank you for your comments. And yes, Nancy, not perfection, so progress. You want to do better than what you've done. You don't want to be perfect, and you want to improve the relationship with yourself because you need to understand how you're harming yourself, and you need to understand that you're not going to be perfect, and food is not the enemy, and food can actually make you strong and healthy and nutritious. So I would say focus on self-love, make small habits. When you succeed, focus on that. Don't focus on when you don't succeed, and definitely seek a professional to help you in that as well. Definitely.
Those who do not know what bulimia is, it is that when someone eats a lot and then to compensate for that eating, they will forcefully throw up or something, and it is a cycle that they eat, they throw up, they eat, they throw up, which is horrible.
Because they're afraid to gain weight.
Yes, yeah. They're trying to gain weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so true. We as adults get influence from our parents. Yes, definitely. So I'll just ask one more question. Just a general. The budgets are really tight, and most of us don't have so many options available. Probably most of us cannot afford to buy avocados or something in bulk, at least.
So this is a great question, because health is actually not expensive. And so you can be healthy and not expensive. Now, of course, you have the expensive route where you're buying everything organic, everything fresh, everything non-GMO. Yeah, this might cost a little bit more, but if you actually end up cutting out all the fast food you're eating, if you cut all the restaurants food you're eating, and you start cooking at home and you buy your own produce, you're going to realize that it's actually not that much more expensive, especially when you know how to do it sustainably. So let's say I go grocery shopping and I buy a bunch of fruits and vegetables and stuff. If I don't fit you on the first day, let them eat whatever they want. Don't say anything. Like, don't put these rules, because when they grow up, these rules can sometimes make them really want something. Free day. Today we had Girgyan or Halloween. You can eat all the candy that you want. Now tomorrow comes, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because kids want to continue eating it all until they're done. So tomorrow comes. Let's say they're going to school tomorrow. So what you can do is now you have the candy bag. It's not with them. It's with you, because they've already had their day with it. And in their lunchbox, you put maybe 2 or 3 pieces of their favorite candy. 2 or 3, okay? Now, this makes your kids kind of feel like you're not keeping them away from their candy. And so for like a week, you can put the 2 or 3 pieces. After a few days, you decrease it to maybe 1 piece. And then slowly you just wean them off of the candy. Now, what do you do with the extra? They're probably going to be like, oh, but there's all this extra candy. What do we do with it? You can create like a treasure box where you put it in a box and then you take it out during special times during the year. You can create a box to give it to someone who doesn't have stuff like that. So, you can just get a little bit creative with it. It doesn't all have to be eaten in that day or in those 2 days. But that's a tip that I just want to give everyone, because it kind of lets you know.
That's very interesting. Never think about that. Yeah, but very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very smart way to get the children all the candies.
Yeah.
Because when I also get Girgyan, so it lasts me for a year sometimes,
Oh, wow.
Because you get so much. Yeah, if I don't eat them as much. There will be other people who come in my room and they'll eat it, but I don't. Yeah, so I do try to stay away from it. But
and then feel free to get rid of some along the way. As time goes on, you don't need to keep all the candy. Your kid's not going to know eventually. The first few weeks, they're going to be crazy about it. So this is where you want to give a little, not too much. Another thing that's actually, it's an interesting one. Now, I don't have my own kids, so I actually haven't really tested all of these out, but I do test a lot of them out on the kids with me at school, and I know some of them work. And to me, it's like a logical, like, mental thing, But for example, when you're serving dinner at home, you can serve dinner, and you can be like, okay, here's your chicken, your rice, your vegetables. If you finish your dinner, you get to have dessert. What does that do, though, right? And that's what we all do. Finish your dinner and I'll give you dessert. Dessert becomes the reward. The food becomes the bad thing that you don't want, but you're only going to do it to get the big, to get that reward. So what some parents recommend doing, and I research a lot of like kids eating habits, and I research what a lot of people do about it. So this is also why I have a lot of information with it. But what is recommended to do is actually serve it all together. And so, you serve your chicken, you serve your rice, and you serve your vegetables, and you serve your desserts with it. So this way, the dessert isn't sticking out alone. It's not special. The dessert is equal to all the food. Equal. And that's what you want to put in their heads, that I eat my food. If they want to start with the cake and then eat the chicken, the rice, and the salad, that's okay. If they want to start, and that's okay. Let them do what they want to do. Just put it in their head that you need to eat all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very common. Even I think my family, my friends, I think everyone does that. That okay, eat. I'll give you a chocolate cake. If they bribe their kids with chocolate candies for anything, not even only dinner.
So bad, because we think it's like love.
Yeah.
Like, come here, let me give you chocolate. No, you're making me fat. Or unhealthy.
Yeah, definitely.
I see a question from Dr. Hasiva. What if the parents have their own struggles with eating oily and fast food? I would say there's something that we call crowding out in our coaching. And so crowding out basically means that, let's assume, sorry for my weird props today, but let's assume that this is what you eat, Dr. Hasiba, okay? And let's assume that this is like fried food and oily and unhealthy and all. Now, for people that's change, if this is what you've been doing for so long, if I take it away from you, you'll be strong for a couple days, but then after a few days or a week or two or a month, you're going to go right back to it. So instead, what do I tell people? Keep eating what you're eating, but now I want you to add fresh greens, and now I want you to add fruits, and now I want you to add more vegetables, and now I want you to add whole grains. So now you're eating all of this, right? So this is still better than you if you were only eating this. Now, the whole point of all of this is eventually when you the addiction to this in your body out without you even realizing it. All you have to do is set yourself up to succeed. All you have to do is start adding fruits, vegetables, whole grains, brown rice, quinoa, good protein, and just let the magic happen with your body. The human body is actually so powerful. It's so strong. It's made to heal itself. It's not